Hello, my lovely people. A pleasant afternoon to you. All right, so lovelies. Um, it is with such joy and great pleasure that I've logged on this very important matter because when you seldom, when you rarely come across great leadership, very good leadership, and especially leadership among women, it is something to be sought after, but even somewhat importantly, it is something to be talked about. Because unfortunately, in quite a number of instances, you know, and I'm for women empowerment, and I'm talking about serious transformational change, transformational empowering our women. I believe in that. And I know that we do have good women who can be good leaders. But oftentimes we come across women who become very spiteful, vengeful, jealous, envious, and they find uncanny ways of sabotaging other women. They sabotage other women, even women who are below them in rank. Many times, oftentimes, it is unbelievable. So when you see the opposite, it is a celebratory moment. And by that token, I want to extend heartiest congratulations to the leadership of the Detentions and Court Department of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They had a somewhat of an awards ceremony today, in which I was in attendance as a guest. And when I looked and observed in somewhat the leadership and listened to people and saw the achievements of that particular division, I said to myself, it had to be God, obviously, and definitely it had to be good leadership. I could feel the morale being high among the colleagues, the workers. You could feel it, you saw growth, you saw development, you saw empowerment, you saw motivation, you saw upliftment, you saw health and wellness, almost like you saw nutrition. It was holistic, it was multidimensional, it was multifaceted, it touched on every area that spoke and still continues to speak to transformational change among our police officers. They were empowered in a vehement, in a purposeful, in a meaningful way today. I remember one particular individual that I met some time ago at Detentions and Court, and he had done his exam for the inspector, and he was successful. To see that they harness and they push for promotion, they push for growth. They don't have you there, year after year after year. Mind you, it also is incumbent upon the person to do his or her part. But after you have done, then you would expect leadership, management to go and to take the baton and carry you further. Boy, I watched under the, I would call it, I want to say the patronage, but under the leadership, the excellent leadership of the commander for the Detentions and Court Division, Superintendent Arlene Powell. Today was epic. It was awe-inspiring. It was almost an entire day. Almost. It wasn't the entire day. But I felt fulfilled. I was filled up because I was emptied out. And I came in filled. It's almost like if there are really 21 nutrients out there in different foods and so forth. I felt like I was filled with all of them. Excellent leadership. And one may wonder how it is that I would know that. How you would know that? You look at the spirit of the people, the attitude of the people. And you look at the support of people, it was filled to capacity. They came in their numbers. And in all honesty, although they would so-called have chosen and I use this term, the best of the best, those who really performed, I would want to believe that everybody got some sort of an accolade, some sort of, you know, how would I put it, for lack of a better word, compensation, and not necessarily monetarily. Whether it was a certificate, whether it was a plaque, whether it was a trophy, whether it was money, whatever it may have been, and they showed the camaraderie. They showed the camaraderie among them. They showed how the leader was invested and had invested in the lives of the workers. As a matter of fact, I think they have even allowed some of the district constables, being the lowest rank, being able to go and study further so that they can go further, and this was not so really historically. If you understand what it is, normally if you're a deceased, remain that way because of the level of a district constable. They don't get as much work, and it is not as, demanding as the other posts, like constable upwards. And now they have allowed some of them that privilege, some. When you see leadership, it must be applauded, it must be honored, because we seldom see good leadership, especially among women. I was in awe today. I stayed until the very end. I celebrated with all of them. I felt so good to see the leader honoring the staff. She said, "It is not me, it is them." And she was proud to speak of whomever may have been promoted, if they were this before and now they are at a higher level, higher ranking. She was proud to do that, and I can almost guarantee that she contributed to the promotion of many of them. They were excited as police officers. They were so happy. They cheered on each other. They celebrated others. And for the few civilians who worked for them, they celebrated them as well. She basically celebrated all. And they were so welcoming. And let me tell you something, people. The customer service was excellent. They were so welcoming, honorable. I'm literally at a loss for words, and I literally don't even know what to say to describe today. It is indescribable, literally indescribable. I was in awe. I was awe-inspired, because I can't tell you when last I come across such great leadership. You have the great Mia Motley, in Barbados. She came to mind as I spoke about that. But I'm talking here in Jamaica. It was amazing. It was nothing short of amazing to see this woman not being a hinderer or hindrance, but an inspirer, motivator, not using feelings over facts, not trying to sabotage people indirectly or covertly, but to lift them up. That even her higher said, "Boy, I look like we're going to have to move her from there and put her at a higher level." Because, they say we've been watching, and they show the statistics of the growth and of their accomplishment almost at 100%. But I give them 100. Because some areas were, 50% of the areas were 100. And some were in their, I think, 80s or 90s or whatnot. Excellent leader. Excellent leader. Superintendent Arlene Powell of the Detentions and Courts Division. Excellent leadership, because I know that we really have women who lead effectively and efficiently, and it has nothing to do with perfection. It has to do with I'm here to protect, to serve, and to reassure, and to empower, and to inspire, not to be a hindrance, not to try and sabotage people, not to be malevolent, evil, and wicked. But just as how I have to work hard to come here and somebody help me, I'm going to help the others to get here and above. Big up to you, Miss Powell. Congratulations and big up to the 10 Johnson Courts. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me one of those lines, and you can follow me on Instagram.